Imagine standing in an ancient desert thousands of years ago. The landscape is silent, except for the wind sweeping across the rocks. Somewhere beneath the ground lie veins of gold, shining metal that humans have valued for as long as history remembers. But according to ancient stories, this gold was not unprotected. Watching over it was a creature unlike any real animal, a creature with the powerful body of a lion, the sharp beak and wings of an eagle, and eyes that could see danger from miles away. This creature was the Griffin. Across ancient cultures, from the Mediterranean to Central Asia, people told stories about griffins guarding hidden treasures. Gold buried in mountains, jewels hidden in deserts, or sacred objects protected by fierce guardians. Travelers claimed these creatures built nests in remote cliffs and guarded the gold around them with incredible aggression. Anyone who tried to steal it risked being attacked by the beast. At first glance, these stories might sound like simple fantasy. But when we look closer, the idea of the griffin guarding treasure appears again and again in different cultures and different periods of history. This raises an interesting question. Why did people consistently imagine griffins as guardians of treasure? Why not wolves, giants, or other mythical creatures? To understand that, we need to go back to where the griffin first appeared in human imagination. The griffin is far older than most people realize. Many assume it comes from medieval legends, but the creature actually appears thousands of years earlier in the art and mythology of ancient civilizations. Some of the earliest griffin-like figures appear in ancient Persia, Mesopotamia, and Egypt. They were carved into palace walls, jewelry, ceremonial objects, and temple decorations. In these early depictions, griffins were not portrayed as wandering monsters. Instead, they were powerful symbolic creatures connected with royalty, protection, and divine authority. Often they appear positioned beside thrones, palace gates, or sacred buildings. Their role in these images is very clear. They are guardians. Ancient artists did not randomly choose the griffin's form. The lion was already seen as the strongest animal on land and was associated with courage and kingship. The eagle, meanwhile, ruled the skies and was often linked to the gods and the heavens. By combining these two animals, ancient cultures created a creature that symbolized ultimate power. It was a being that dominated both earth and sky. This made the griffin feel almost supernatural. It was not simply another animal. It was something greater, something capable of protecting things that humans considered sacred or extremely valuable. As trade routes expanded between Asia, the Middle East, and Europe, stories about griffins began to travel as well. Some of those stories would soon connect the griffin with one of the most desired materials in human history: gold. One of the earliest written descriptions of griffins guarding treasure comes from ancient Greek sources. Greek historians wrote about lands far beyond the familiar world. These were distant territories north of the Black Sea and deep into Central Asia, places that were mysterious to the Greeks and known mostly through stories told by travelers and traders. According to these accounts, those remote mountains contained enormous deposits of gold. But the gold was not easy to collect. Writers described fierce creatures called griffins living in those mountains, building nests and fiercely defending the gold around them. Nomadic tribes living nearby were said to risk their lives trying to steal the treasure while avoiding the deadly guardians. Some stories even described ongoing conflicts between the griffins and people who attempted to gather gold from those lands. For people living far away in the Mediterranean world, these stories made the distant region seem even more mysterious. Beyond the known maps, beyond the borders of civilization, there were mountains full of gold guarded by powerful creatures. Whether these stories were believed literally or simply repeated as fascinating tales from distant lands, they helped establish the griffin's reputation as the ultimate guardian of treasure. But the connection between griffins and treasure was not only about storytelling. It also had a powerful symbolic meaning. The strength of the griffin as a mythological creature comes from what it represents. Every part of the griffin carries symbolic meaning. The lion, often called the king of beasts, represents courage, strength, and authority over the land. In many ancient cultures, lions were associated with kings and warriors. The eagle represents vision, freedom, and connection with the divine. Because it flies high above the earth, the eagle was often linked to the gods in the heavens. When these two animals were combined into one creature, the result was something extraordinary. The griffin could see from the sky like an eagle and fight on the ground like a lion. Nothing could approach it without being noticed. Nothing could challenge it easily. Because of this, the griffin became a symbol of vigilance and absolute power. When people imagined something extremely valuable that needed protection, it felt natural to imagine a guardian with these qualities. The griffin became the perfect protector of treasure, sacred objects, and royal power. In mythology, treasure is rarely only about wealth. Gold and jewels often represent deeper ideas such as knowledge, power, divine favor, or the authority of kings. In many ancient traditions, valuable things were believed to require protection. Sacred relics were protected inside temples. Royal symbols were guarded by warriors. Knowledge was preserved by priests. Mythology reflects the same pattern. If something is powerful or sacred, then something powerful must guard it. The griffin, already known as a divine protector, naturally filled this role. But there is also another reason guardians appear in myths. Guardians create obstacles. If a treasure were easy to obtain, the story would have little meaning. By placing a powerful creature between the hero and the treasure, the story creates a challenge. The guardian represents the idea that valuable things must be earned. Facing the griffin becomes part of the journey. It is the test that proves whether someone deserves the treasure. Over time, this storytelling idea became deeply embedded in myths and legends. By the Middle Ages, the griffin had become a well-known creature in European culture. During this period, it began appearing in heraldry, the system of symbols used by noble families and kingdoms. Griffins were painted on shields, carved into stone, and displayed on banners. The reason for choosing this creature was clear. The griffin represented vigilance, courage, and protection. In heraldic designs, the griffin often appears standing upright, with wings raised and claws ready. Its head is usually turned slightly to the side as if watching for danger. This posture symbolizes constant awareness and readiness to defend. For noble families, using the griffin as their symbol communicated an important message. It suggested that they were strong protectors of their land, their people, and their wealth. In this way, the griffin evolved from a mythological guardian of treasure into a symbol of human authority and responsibility. But while the griffin became a symbol in medieval Europe, modern research suggests that the original myth may have had a surprising connection to something very real. In Central Asia, especially in regions known for ancient gold deposits, scientists have discovered fossils of dinosaurs, such as Protoceratops. These fossils are fascinating. They have 4 legs, a beak-like mouth, and a large skull with a distinctive shape. When these bones are partially exposed in desert sand, they can look like the remains of a strange creature that is part bird and part land animal. Ancient travelers crossing these deserts might have discovered such fossils long before the science of paleontology existed. Without a scientific explanation, the bones could easily inspire stories about mysterious creatures. Because these fossils were often found near regions rich in gold deposits, the connection between the creature and the gold may have formed naturally in storytelling. Over the generations, stories about strange bones in the desert could gradually transform into legends about powerful creatures guarding treasure. While historians cannot prove this theory with certainty, it offers a fascinating glimpse into how myths may sometimes grow from real discoveries. Even today, the griffin has not disappeared from human imagination. It continues to appear in fantasy novels, films, video games, and role-playing worlds. Sometimes it is portrayed as a dangerous creature guarding ancient ruins or magical treasures. In other stories, it appears as a noble and intelligent animal capable of forming bonds with humans. Despite these different portrayals, one element remains surprisingly consistent. The griffin is still often a guardian. Whether protecting enchanted artifacts, sacred temples, or hidden mountain treasures, the creature continues to represent watchfulness and strength. When we look at the long history of the griffin, we can see that it represents much more than a mythical animal. Its story connects ancient art, distant travel tales, symbolic meaning, and perhaps even fossil discoveries hidden beneath the earth. But the deeper reason the griffin continues to exist in our imagination lies in what it symbolizes. Throughout history, people have understood that the most valuable things are rarely easy to obtain. Whether that value comes from wealth, knowledge, power, or wisdom, there is usually something standing between us and what we seek. In mythology, that barrier becomes a guardian. And in the case of the griffin, that guardian took the form of one of the most powerful creatures humans could imagine, a being with the strength of the lion and the vision of the eagle. A creature capable of watching over treasure while reminding us that some things must be earned before they can truly be claimed. If you enjoyed this journey into myth and meaning, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what creature or mystery you'd like to explore next. Until next time, yours truly, Mythos, the Historian.